Welcome to Mindfulness 101. In this video, you'll learn about mindfulness and you will be able to do a practice of mindfulness. The goal of this session is to learn about mindfulness and meditation and how you can integrate it into your day. The agenda for today is: what is mindfulness? What are its benefits? How do you meditate? What are some common misconceptions about meditation and mindfulness? How do you start a meditation practice? And we'll also do some tips for being mindful every day. So what is mindfulness? Mindfulness is paying attention on purpose in the present moment and non-judgmentally to the events that unfold moment to moment. So this definition was developed by Jon Kabat-Zinn, the founder of mindfulness in North America. And Jon Kabat-Zinn started the mindfulness-based stress reduction program at University of Massachusetts Medical School and has been rolling out courses across the world based on this practice. So the key components are attention in the present, not in the past or the future, and non-judgmentally. In any given moment, we can either be mindful or mindless. So we're either in the zone and paying attention to the present, or else we're caught up in the thoughts that prevent us from being in the here and now. We may be thinking about the future, we may be thinking about the past. So what are the benefits of mindfulness? What does the research say about mindfulness practice? So one of the benefits of meditation is it sharpens the ability to pay attention and it counters habituation, which is mind wandering. It also changes our brain structure after as little as 8 weeks of mindfulness-based stress reduction. Mindfulness has been shown to be an effective treatment for depression and anxiety, and it dampens the activity in the amygdala, which is based on recognizing threats. Mindfulness also increases our ability to bounce back from stress and gives us more compassion. In long-term meditators, it quiets rumination, which is focusing on the same thought or worry over and over again. And it also helps to decrease the negativity bias, which is paying more attention to negative things in our life. Mindfulness and meditation uses our breath as the anchor. So breathing from your diaphragm helps to flip the switch from mindless to mindful. It takes you out of autopilot and gives you the space to respond rather than react when things come up in your life. So by practicing diaphragmatic breathing, our blood pressure and our heart rate decrease, the stress response decreases, and we experience better sleep, compassion, and less anxiety. So the basis of mindfulness and meditation practice has 3 easy steps to it. So you sit comfortably and you close your eyes, and I'll get you to try this right now, or adjust your gaze downward. And begin to focus in on your breath. Either choose to notice the breath as it comes in through your nostrils and leaves your body through your nose, or focus on your chest or your belly and notice each inhale and exhale. Without trying to change anything about your breathing, you're focusing on your breath coming in and leaving your body. Just continue to focus on your belly. As you inhale, notice your belly rising. And as you exhale, notice your belly falling. Anytime a thought comes into your mind, notice that thought and patiently bring your attention back to your breath. And just continue to sit there and notice your breath as it comes into your body and notice the feeling as it leaves your body. And in a minute, I'll get you to come back to the present and just slowly open your eyes. So there's a lot of confusion out there about mindfulness and how it should be. And I find that this really helps to alleviate any worry that I have that I may be not doing it right. So the first myth is that your mind should be empty. And the actual truth is that thoughts will come and go during your mindfulness practice, and that's fine. That just gives you more awareness. The second myth is that you'll experience a special state of bliss, and this is not necessarily true at all. So the truth is that no bliss will happen, and every session will be different. You'll have some days where thoughts are coming in all the time, and other days where it's easier to drop into that mindful state focused on the breath. The third myth is that you're using mindfulness to improve, to get better at something, to focus better. So the truth is, you're not using mindfulness to get anywhere. You're using it to calm, focus, and whatever you experience is your experience. That's the way it is. And the fourth myth is, I'm not doing it right. And there's no wrong way to actually experience and to practice meditation. So whatever happens is fine. So how do you create a meditation practice? The first step is to set aside time regularly to practice, whether that's first thing in the morning or at the end of your day or after you've exercised. And start with a few minutes and gradually increase your time. You may find that doing 5 minutes of meditation is overwhelming at first, and gradually increase your time. For people who find that it's very difficult to sit, Hatha yoga may be an option. And the practice of Hatha yoga is focused on the breath with slow movement. And that mind, movement, breath connection will give you very similar benefits to meditation. It's actually a moving meditation practice. In the mindfulness-based stress reduction program, they recommend that you build up to doing 45 minutes of mindfulness practice 6 days a week. And that may seem overwhelming, but if you start with a body scan recording, it's actually quite doable. There are a few types of meditation that you can practice. The first is a body scan where you breathe into different parts of your body, noticing starting from your feet and moving up to the head and breathing into that part of the body and then releasing that part of the body. And that's quite accessible. It helps to focus your attention. The second is a breathing meditation seated, and you're focusing on your breath, noticing your thoughts and bringing your attention back to your breath. The third is Hatha yoga, which is a slow held yoga with breath. And then there's also loving kindness meditation. So John Kabat-Zinn has a series of meditations that includes the body scan, 45 minutes, a seated meditation, 2 Hatha yoga practices. And you can purchase that, a digital copy of that through Sounds True. But there are lots of meditation practices available. Mindwellu teaches us mindfulness in action. And this 30-day curriculum is delivered in 5 minutes a day practice over 30 days. There's also a 5-day mini challenge. So what Mindwellu does is it sends short 2 or 3 minute videos to your phone, device, or computer every day for 30 days, or every other day, or every 3 days. And it encourages you to practice Take 5 for mindfulness. So they pair the cue, a cue of, say, an example is noticing the cue of drinking coffee. So whenever you drink coffee, you're going to take 5 for mindfulness. So notice that you're drinking coffee. You notice something new in your environment. You notice how your body is feeling while you're doing this. And then you notice your breath. So focus on your breath as you're practicing doing that cue. Notice how the breath feels as it comes into your body and leaves your body. Take 5 minutes or 5 slow breaths for mindfulness. and then go back to your day and notice something new. So it's a very simple practice that encourages you to practice mindfulness on a cue. So the cues vary during your session. It may be when you're brushing your teeth, it may be when you're drinking coffee. Another cue may be when you walk into a room. So it's a very simple and accessible curriculum to teach you about mindfulness. And you can sign up on the ArcelorMittal login. So you create a username and password, and then you sign up for a 30-day or a 5-day challenge. Another way that you can be mindful is to engage in activities that engage you fully in the moment, which is described as a state of flow. So for some people, that may be cooking, it may be drawing or art, it may be painting, doing music, gardening, cycling, running, walking, surfing. So in those moments, you're so focused on doing that thing that you can't be thinking about other things in your life. And this actually is very replenishing, rejuvenating. So find things that engage you and be mindful with them. There are a number of tools to help you be well for mental health. So those include Mindwellu, Stronger Minds, which is a website, and it is available through Wellness Together Canada, which is developed by a series of psychologists around the pandemic. And so it focuses on resiliency and keeping yourself positive, how to deal with anxiety and so on, how to talk to kids about the pandemic. So that's a very useful resource. The other is Wellness Together Canada. There are a number of tools that are free on the Government of Canada portal, including mental health and addiction. There's also the Big White Wall, which is an online community for people who are experiencing anxiety or depression. And there is another site called ICANN SFI Strongest Families. And this is focused on dealing with worry and coping with stress. So that's available through the Government of Canada, Wellness Together Canada. There are many mindfulness resources out there, and you've probably heard a lot of them. So the Insight Timer app is a very accessible and free practice. You can also sign up for a more in-depth paid subscription. Wildflowers Mindfulness, which was developed by U of T. The Headspace app is excellent app, and you can try it for free. I have heard of lots of people who've had great success with Headspace. Dan Harris has written a number of books, one called 10% Happier, and there's an app for that, practicing meditation and mindfulness. What I like about that is he calls it meditation for fidgety skeptics. And it's very, very accessible and informative. We also use the Muse brain sensing headband in medical, and you can book an appointment to do that. And then there's a full, John Kabat-Zinn has a number of books and resources. One of the more well-known books is Full Catastrophe Living, and there's a mindfulness audio series. So that's just a few of the resources that are available. Lastly, I'll talk about how you can incorporate mindfulness into your day. So the first tip is to be where you are. So if you're doing the dishes, just do the dishes. Notice the water, the warmth of the water, what you're doing. If you're in the shower, then notice the water, the warmth of the water, and enjoy that. Try not to be moving ahead to that meeting that you have to have later today. Secondly, you can use cues to take 5 and do some mindful breathing. So those cues might be whenever you take a drink, whenever you pick up a phone, notice your breath and take a few breaths, 5 breaths, and then go back to your day. The third one is nature bathing. So getting out and moving in nature, noticing all the sights, the smells, the sounds, is a very, very rejuvenating way to be mindful. And a lot of people find this the easiest way to practice mindfulness. And the last one is to eat mindfully. So rather than mindlessly eating while you're watching TV or while you're working, take the time to actually eat your food and notice your food. Notice how full you are, notice the tastes, notice the texture. You may find that you end up eating less and noticing that you're full sooner. So hopefully you have enjoyed this presentation and you have some tips for incorporating mindfulness into your day and into your life. Thanks for joining me.